This program is sponsored by Dave Stahl.
Power on. Power on.
It's time to take your place on the starting grid and get ready for Racer Radio. Your host, Dave Stahl, about to take you for a white-knuckled lap around the motorsports industry, covering everything from top-notch national drivers and crew chiefs right down to your local kid racers and racetracks. Watch for the apex, because here comes Racer Radio with Dave Stahl.
All right, folks, welcome to Racer Radio, FM 96.1, AM 1170.
The answer.
Well, Brittany, my dear, you've
Hi.
brought a couple of idols in that I have looked up to for more years than I care to admit. I call them Mr. and Mr. Autopower. So,
May I thank Dwight and Steve for
Yes.
introducing me to today's guests. I was not able to get there on my own. I had some help finding them.
Oh.
Yes. Well,
Go ahead.
well, I wanted to tell you I was thinking of a number.
Yes.
I'm going to narrow it down for you. 0 to 500. Think of some of the pictures I sent you earlier this week.
Typical school
What
teacher.
number am I thinking of? This is to put in perspective for our listeners. Who
37.
Well, I love that number. It's my race number. If you guys didn't.
Just had
Okay.
The number I'm thinking of is 413. Look at his face. 413 miles per hour
Oh, you can do
is
that.
how fast Nolan White went back in 2002, and this is on land, Bonneville.
Yeah.
And so, listeners, in-house today, we have both Nolan's son and grandson, and speed obviously is in their blood.
Yes.
Yeah, so please welcome Rick and Brad White.
So the acorn didn't fall too
I
far from
don't
the
think
tree is what
so.
you're telling me?
No, I got wrapped up in this stuff early in life, and
As soon as
just
you were
never got out
born.
of it.
As soon
I
as you were
think so.
born.
I think
Come on,
so.
you're going to the track.
Well,
I
yeah.
need somebody.
How many years have you been going to Bonneville? Whether it was a spectator, crew, chief.
Most of my life.
I was going to say, as long as Bonneville's been there.
Just probably about 60 years I've been going to
60
Bonneville. Yep.
years.
Wow.
Yep.
So you got your own parking spot then, I hear.
One of many, yes. Yes, yes.
Ready?
So what did you campaign mainly at Bonneville?
Well, running with my dad from the very beginning, it was always a home-built car that
Sure.
we did at home in the garage. And,
Streamliners?
And streamliners, and he started off in the modified sports car classes
Okay.
and worked his way up. And then when I started driving at Bonneville, when I went to high school, I had a 58 Corvette. And the year I graduated from high school, my dad and I put a little motor together for it. I went to Bonneville, and I set a 151-mile-an-hour record with the car.
Wow.
Had a little 255-inch small block in it.
And I bet that thing was screaming.
Yeah, and
He's smiling, listeners, really big. He's got a wonderful smile when he talks about this.
and that just set the hook even deeper.
Yeah,
you know?
I bet.
So
Oh, yeah.
it was hard.
Well, and you know, and
Did your dad? He's
well,
so
yeah,
kitty.
because you could tell it never goes away. You know, I love it when she says she's not going to race after next year. She's going to just keep. I go, yeah, right. Famous last
No,
words.
I have to keep racing.
You have to keep racing. Well,
We talked about that in the green room. It's
Yeah.
my drug of choice is the
Well,
adrenaline. And
exactly.
Fast cars
and where
get
else?
that,
And where
yeah.
else can you get it? Where else can you get that kind of an
I'm
adrenaline
sure other
rush?
places, but
The automotive stuff it's hard to walk away from
Yeah.
once you get
Super
set.
hard.
Yep.
But you know, Bonneville, you know, you think it's all about the speed, right? It's all about keeping the record, and that's the hard part.
do you agree?
Oh yeah,
okay.
the records are made to be broken.
But that's
And,
the hard part.
It is.
Because you're all fine. Okay, I got my record. I'm good. I'm not going to do this anymore. And then some doorknob goes up there and beats him by a mile.
Or even a
Okay.
half mile an hour.
Yeah.
You know.
All right. Let's
even
put
a half mile an hour.
let's put another car together. We can't let that go along.
Yeah,
Am I right?
Yeah, you're exactly right.
Is
And
this? Oh, I'm sorry.
the car that you were looking at right there is a car that Brad and I built.
The current one.
That's the current car
Don't
that we
say
run
what
right
it is
now.
just yet. Will you describe that because the listeners can't
That's
see
a
this?
very
How
fast.
long is it? How?
It's
Oops.
a 200-inch wheelbase car.
What did it start out as?
I know this is the part that's crazy
It
to
started
me.
off as a 1971 Honda 600.
Do you see a Honda in that?
It's everything from the firewall back to stock Honda body. Just have to with a chop top.
A Honda 600?
Honda
Yes.
600.
The 71s?
Yep.
71s.
You widened it a little bit, I take it.
No,
No,
we did.
that's what- all we did is
That's
chop
why-
the top.
That's why we chose that car.
Oh.
We're trying to punch the smallest hole in the air.
Yeah.
And the car's only 48 inches wide.
Listeners, it doesn't look anything like you're thinking.
Well,
of
it does
right
look
now.
a lot bigger.
It's so long.
Well, you got to do that
I understand punching the
Yeah, the
hole.
roof of the car is 42 inches tall
from the ground.
from the ground.
Wow.
So who's been behind the wheel of it in this room?
But we both have, but Brad's the main driver now.
How do they get you in this thing?
You got to crawl in with a shoehorn.
I was gonna
Yeah.
say.
barely slip
You
in
can
that
get
thing.
in, but not out.
You had to do both ways.
Vaseline you up really good, so you
You
slide
got to want it. That's for sure.
because the doors don't open. I tell
But
you.
they open. Oh yeah,
Yes, they
I
do.
go in through the door.
Oh, you do go through the door?
Yes.
You must have a great chiropractor. What powers it?
It's a blown alcohol Chevrolet,
Okay.
about 2,000 horsepower.
How many turbos?
It's a supercharged.
Oh,
No
super.
turbo,
That's even
yes.
better anyway. I've
So-
never been a turbo guy.
I saw this picture on a Facebook page. Can you tell our listeners where I saw this so they can look it up right now? Because it doesn't look like what we're talking about.
Well, it's on a couple different Facebook pages. If you look at the San Diego Roadster Club Facebook page and also
Right.
the Autopower's Facebook page.
Autopower.
Yeah,
I
Autopower
think
Industries.
that's
I'm
where I
going to
saw
have
it.
to go to your website and I'm going to send that photo to Honda. And,
Yes.
Because they
Yes.
have you showed it to Honda
Yes, we have.
corporate?
Oh.
Yes.
Did they believe it? No.
Yeah, the people that I've worked with Honda kind of come in and out of it. One guy doesn't remember that I was there. And
Yeah.
so
Well, of course.
So,
they kind of.
yeah.
That-
It's unbelievable that this is a Honda.
Well, because it's
It was a Honda.
It was.
Remember the
Honda.
Studebaker Hawks? Remember
Yes.
how aerodynamic those
Yeah,
were?
Yep.
And a lot of people didn't realize it except the Bonneville people. You guys couldn't wait to find a car like that because it was, you know what I'm talking about? Google a 57?
53.
53. Studebaker. That's all you got to do. Studebaker Hawk would probably be the easiest way. And it'll slide through the air.
Yeah, pierce through, yes.
So what would you say for somebody that's wanting to get into Bonneville? What would be your recommendation as far as maybe a class?
Well, you can get started. We run events up at El Mirage Dry Lake Bed, and you could get started. You go up there and look around and see what's
How far
involved.
is El Mirage?
It's 150 miles.
150 miles. It's
Oh,
close
that's
to
not bad.
Victorville.
Okay.
It's right outside.
What's the
Victorville.
life expectancy of that track? And that's one of the reasons we do this show.
That track has been there. Since,
But it's not going anywhere.
no,
Nobody's trying to put a house next to it.
Yeah, and then complain.
Yeah, well,
no, it's on BLM land,
Oh.
and so we get permits and stuff to run.
How do
events
you
out
do
there.
as far as that? Because we talked a little bit about Bonneville with the water and the rain, and it rains out all the time. I mean, you're kind of in the high desert.
Well, up there
At Victorville?
at the one up there is a high desert, and it very seldom does it get rained out up there.
And the track is dirt, though, isn't it?
It's a dirt track. Yes, it is.
And
We
it's
run
much-
a mile and 3/10 course that
Wow.
we run on, and then the shutdown area.
Yeah.
Well, compared to Bonneville, it's a 3 or 5 mile course.
Yeah, and it's on salt,
And salt.
Yeah.
which loves to eat every inch of your
Yes.
car.
Yes, it does.
Is
From
that
the
the first
tires
thing you do when you get back is wipe everything
I
down?
think it's a little bit more than wiping it down. Heavy steam cleaning, right?
Yeah, I get my truck up on the lawn in front of my house. I get a sprinkler underneath it, and I move it about 6 inches at a time down the length of the car.
It's probably
to try
the
to get
only
this-
reason he has a sprinkler system in his front yard. The grass is all dead, but it's a great way to.
Yeah, it depends on the time of
Hey,
year.
it beats crawling underneath there. That's a great idea. I would have never thought of that.
Yeah, I've got an oscillating sprinkler system that I just move it down. Yep.
That's so funny. All right, hey, unfortunately, we got to take a break. But we're going to be back. This is Racer Radio, FM 96.1, AM 1170.
The answer.
All right, folks, welcome back to Racer Radio, FM 96.1, AM 1170.
The answer.
It's always funny how the show's so much better off air than it
We
is
do
on
have
air.
a good time.
We do have a good time.
Hey, Dirt Dude, have you been to Bonneville? Have you had?
No, I haven't, but I've seen a lot of it. I don't know if I could do over 400 miles an hour because I would. But
Just
I don't know
close
if
your
I'd be
eyes.
able to see any- oh yeah, like can you can I hold my breath for that long?
Trust me, you can.
How is the spectating there? Because, I mean,
It's good.
do they just leave and you're like, oh, they're gone?
They have cars lined up all down the length of the course.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
not as
to watch
regulated.
it.
It's not as regulated as you would think.
Got it.
Yeah.
By cars, you mean spectators in
Spectator
cars.
cars,
And
yes.
so you see them coming and
Yes, you can.
Well, it's
Yes.
kind of
They
like
got
a
the
drag
Doppler
race.
effect.
You could either spectate at the beginning, the middle, or the end. You know, it's really your choice, right?
Yeah, you're a lot farther distance off the course than you do like a drag strip.
Well, yeah,
but
because you never know which way.
Like 3 miles long, isn't it? Like you have a mile to get up, and then a mile shutdown, and then a mile run.
No, it's a lot more than that.
Has to be.
You get 2 miles to the light starts. The first light, then there's clocks every mile for 5 miles.
Right, and then you run the full 5 flat out.
That's if you can.
If that's the idea.
Yes, if you can.
If everything's working.
Depends on how much your equipment will handle.
Yeah, and
Oh
then
my
the
gosh.
rundown. What's the rundown?
You have another 4 miles to slow down.
Another 4 miles.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Typically, it changes every
Wow.
year. So
Yeah.
the course is 8 to
Depending
9
on the
miles
course
long.
conditions.
So I understand the track is really deteriorating quite a bit.
It has over a period of time. When I first started going up there many years ago, the salt was
Thick as a brick.
a couple feet thick or something. Now it's maybe an inch.
Yeah. Now, do you guys move the track all around the
Yes,
salt
they do.
flats?
They go up there and they move it around and survey it and lay
'Cause
out
you
the
have
best
to.
course. They'll lay out the best course they can.
Yeah,
Yes.
because if not, you would just pound the living, out of that same area, and then you wouldn't have any place to
No,
run.
they've been mining the salt for like 100 years.
Right.
And I think when they started, nobody ever thought they could ever get rid of everything that was there, and that's what's going on.
Yeah. Why did they pick Bonneville as a drag strip? What in somebody's mind made them think salt would be good to race on?
Well, you need a flat, smooth
called salt
surface,
flats.
Yeah.
and you need the distance, and there's
Yeah. What else?
almost no other way to do it
Yeah. I can't even. I mean, like I said, El Mirage is still pretty short compared to Bonneville.
compared to Bonneville. Yes.
In fact, there's probably nothing out there in the world that would be comparable.
Well, there's a couple other places, and there are salts. There's one they do in Australia,
Really?
and then there's a place that recently been going up in Bolivia.
Can you imagine paying to drag your car out there?
There's some people that do that.
Talk about a Burt Monroe story.
Yes.
And by
That's
the
what it
way,
would be.
Dirt Dude, you ever see that movie, Fastest Indian? What? All right, get
I
on.
can put it on my list.
Yes, get on your computer or your whatever it is, and just see if you can find Fastest Indian, and you will. In fact, this guy sitting next to us, he actually ran with him in Bonneville.
Yeah.
Yes, I met him at Bonneville before. Yes. Yep.
That was a pretty true story. The Fastest Indian.
It's pretty
accurate.
Good
Yes, it
question.
is. Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
The highlight to me was when he was in his room and he had shoe polish and he was filling in the cracks on his tires because he didn't have the money to buy race tires. I don't know how much truth there is to that one.
That's not too far from the truth.
Yeah, that's just insane. So, have you ever drag raced at all?
Budget.
Have you ever drag raced at all?
Dirt dude.
Dirt Dude?
He's asking
Me?
you.
Oh. A little.
I mean, at a track. I'm not talking about
Yeah.
on the street.
No, not professionally.
Okay, that's what you noticed.
Dirt
That.
dude rides a motorcycle, by the way. Can you imagine that?
Sure, what's wrong with
My
that?
gosh, drag racing. Even the gentlemen who are daredevils to my right and left, even they kind of shake their head at the motorcycle.
All right, what do you want to talk about?
There's so many things. We're going to have him back.
Not enough hours in the day.
I'm putting in my notes right here to come back maybe in August
Well,
for the 20-year anniversary, possibly.
Yeah, of the speed record.
Yes, by Nolan White.
So they do other things besides
Yes,
land
we haven't
speed.
even talked about the dirt.
What?
Yeah, I know.
How do you drag race on dirt?
No, he goes in circles like I do, but bigger circles.
How
Yeah.
big a circle?
Well, usually
Not
mile
quite
and a half,
circles.
2 miles. Short course off-road
Short
racing.
course.
Oh, you're off road.
Yeah, dirt too.
as well, yep.
Like trucks
truck.
and wheeling and air. And,
Oh, my
yeah,
first show, my first is San Diego Off Road Coalition
Yep.
for an hour. So
Oh, yeah.
yeah, So you've ever done the Nora?
Nope, no Mexico racing for me.
Oh no.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of going south of the border and going racing at least.
But you know what? You and your dad would have the time of your life. It's on the east side of the Baja Peninsula, and look it up. It's NORRA.
Oh, yeah, and I'm very familiar with it. I've had friends who've competed in it.
I got to announce it the first 2 or 3 years, and Walker Evans came up to me and he says, "Wow, this is the first time I got to see the scenery."
Yeah.
Because it's not a race, it's a rally.
It's a rally.
So what do you drive?
I currently have a 1400, like a 1450 truck. So it's a Toyota, 96 Toyota, steel cab, working door Toyota.
Really?
With a supercharged V6 in it.
No kidding. So where do you go? Where do you race if you don't go to Mexico?
Glen Helen, they have lots of the
That's a cool track.
It's a really fun track.
That's
Once a year, they do about a 5-mile loop, and they use the whole facility.
Do they really?
Yeah.
What are we going to do about all those houses that are creeping in?
It's Southern California.
Because isn't that a day by day as far as that?
Yes, everywhere. But
I'm trying to get the Glen Helen people to call in, and I want to give them some airtime to try to, because once you lose a track, it's over.
yeah, a track like that too, with all the history it has, would be
It's
terrible.
off. Oh man, yeah. Have you ever been to Glen Helen?
I have not that I can recall. I know there's a lot of good racing there because Lars Larson's always racing there and stuff. But
So wow, that's
No.
cool. So how long you been doing that?
I've had this current truck about 5 or 6 years now, and
Okay.
just having a lot of fun with it.
I sent you a picture.
I
of
kind of
that.
turned
Yeah,
it from
I've seen
a play truck into a more serious race.
A
truck.
really, a real.
A real waste of
I
money.
bet it has an auto. Does it have a real waste of money? Does it have an Autopower roll cage in it?
Not this
Yeah.
one.
What?
What?
I
What?
bought this truck. I didn't build this truck.
Oh, the excuses are
An
coming.
upgrade.
So
Oh, it's
you,
been
so
upgraded
you,
several times.
so you are walking home this afternoon? Is that what you're telling me?
Yeah.
I'll let him in.
You're going to let him in?
I'll let him in.
So who sponsors your truck?
The truck itself, a local shipping company called Seco Logistics is one of my sponsors.
Oh, cool.
I have obviously Autopower Industries, of course. Crower helps us out a little bit. We got a few different people helping us out. Fire System Research.
Yeah. How can you be sponsored by Autopower?
I
You
know.
don't have an Autopower cage in it.
Seatbelts. I have Autopower harnesses in it.
Oh, okay.
Autopower limit straps.
Oh, never mind. I take it all back. You're in
Take it
good
back.
shape.
And they're good restraints because I
Yes.
brought that up in the
They're
green
the
room.
best. They're the best. Yeah.
Somebody survived an over a mile long crash.
Over 400 mile an hour accident with that car.
Yeah.
He's talking about.
And he posted, and I had restraints
From
Autopower.
That's right. Yeah, because a lot of people think that's all you guys do is cages, but you do a lot more.
Yes.
What are some of the other things besides cages, belts,
SFI
harnesses?
certified racing harnesses, 5-point, 6-point. We can go custom stuff.
Yeah.
Standard
Short
stuff.
people, tall people.
Everything you need.
Yeah. Colors. You have
Yeah, a
multiple
few
colors.
different. Yeah, with black, red, and blue. We always prefer the black though because it saves the cleanness.
Yeah, it sure does. Now it's,
Oh, yeah, I run red. Yeah, you see the mud.
Yeah.
well, it's your fault.
It pops.
Yeah. Well, you have to look good. at
And
the
I can
track.
see them in the dark when I'm getting into the car.
that's
and
right.
It does help me to literally see what
I
I'm
see.
doing.
I gotcha. So you've got a pretty. Are you on any kind of a series?
Not really. I kind of run with the Mora series, which is the Mojave Off-Road Racing Series. A couple races with
Okay.
them, and because it's the short course world's kind of upside down right now. Lucas Oil put sponsor in the main series, the short course series.
Oh, yeah.
And so now it's kind of flip-flopping around. There's a few different venues. It's
Yeah.
not really established right now.
I wonder why Lucas did that.
Funding,
Yeah, I was gonna
COVID,
say
every
money.
excuse,
Yeah, maybe they'll come back.
Use it as a.
Well, that's all you can do is wish that they come back.
That's right.
So do you drag race? I mean, do you land speed race as well?
Yeah, I'm the current driver of that Honda car. Yeah.
Yeah, Brad's taking over the driving for this car right now.
So you've hung up the helmet.
for a while. Yes, we'll see what happens. Like I say, we sold the drag race car that I was running with Chuck Neal and I.
You
that
sold
one there.
her?
Yeah, we just sold
Recently
it
retired. We'll
Very
see how
recently
long
sold
that
the
lasts.
drag race car.
Well, that's like taking heroin. You just can't end taking heroin. It's
Yeah, you have
just-
to come down off of it.
Yeah, you're supposed to do it gradually.
Yeah.
We don't want you to freak out and go into cardiac arrest. But so, what are you doing to fulfill the need?
There's never-ending things to do. But
you're not driving.
Not right now.
Yeah.
I think I'll get back in it again. Right now, we're going to concentrate. You need to get seat time to learn how to drive these
That's
things.
true. Yeah, it's
And,
not like you just get in it and
No, you're trying to put a pretty substantial amount of horsepower down on a surface that doesn't get good traction and a tire that's about 2 inches wide.
right.
So it takes
What?
a lot of
Oh,
effort
yeah.
to learn how to drive a car like
I'm going
that.
back to the picture
Yeah,
here.
well, see, that picture really doesn't do it justice. It looks like it's huge, but it's not. How long is it?
It's a 200-inch wheelbase.
Just the
200-inch
Yes.
wheelbase.
Yes.
That's small.
Yep.
Yeah, that is
And
small.
the car itself is 48 inches wide.
Wow. And 40-something inches tall.
Yes.
Could almost be a GT40.
Almost.
That's how they came up with that
That's
number.
right.
That's how they came up with it.
That's right. Yep.
Yeah, then hopefully he'll get back in that car someday soon. I would hope once I get into the Bonneville 300 mile an hour club, and then you should jump back in the car.
Are you in the 200?
Not quite yet. I've gone over 200, but I'm not in the club. You have
Yeah.
to break a record over 200 miles an hour.
You got to go
Past
down
a certain amount
and back.
Correct.
Yes, and I learned with this certificate, you have to get average. You have to do
Oh, no,
two
no, it's- yeah.
runs within an hour,
Yeah,
right?
That's
there's
what it is.
more rules and regulations than a lot of people realize.
Learned it today.
Yeah. and it's a very precise sport. You know, it's not just get in and hammer it and hang on. I mean, you've got to really know what you're doing. You got to know what the car's doing. You got to watch everything, and yeah.
Do you have to look at like the air temperature and all that sort of stuff?
Yeah, altitude and all,
Yeah.
you know, tuning adjustments.
You
for
do
all
a
that.
lot of that for the tune-ups. You know, you figure
Yeah,
out
yeah,
air
yeah.
density and different things to figure your tune-up on your cars.
Well, a lot of people Bonneville doesn't get the coverage. You know, a lot of motorsports venues do. So a lot of people don't know what goes on up there. Yeah, but once you go, and here's a guy talking, and I've never been, okay? But I have studied it. I've read about it. And then, of course, the friend that I was telling about, Jack Dolan, you know, it's such an art to be able to do land speed record. I just finished reading a book, John Cobb, but on the water, in his one and only run, and he was succumbed due to some it was design issues. I mean, the book is fascinating. I don't know if you want to read it. I'll be more than happy to loan it to you.
I've read. I don't know if I've read the exact book that you've got, but I've read information about him, and I have a pretty extensive land speed and book collection at home.
A library, shall we say?
I do. Yes.
Well, we're definitely having them back, and I have Donnie Angel coming in. Sonny Angel, his brother, is all about Bonneville. They're coming in soon, so we're
wow.
going
Where
to
are
hear
you getting
it.
all these Bonneville people?
I know. So listeners, there's going to
He's
be.
a motorcycle guy, though.
Yes,
He's a lot different.
Look at you
Yeah,
shaking
he's
your
shaking
head.
his
Car
head.
guys are a completely different world.
Trust me.
They're all crazy.
I'd be shaking my head too. I mean, I've always wanted to be in the 200-mile-an-hour club, not on a motorcycle.
No, but for our listeners, just so you know, we'll have some more Bonneville talk.
Yeah.
Well, it's like I said, and it's a great spectator race because you can get in the pits, and you're not.
Is that true?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, you're
Okay,
not
so you can
walk
restricted.
through. Yeah.
Like I tell
starting
everybody,
line, the
be
pits.
careful
Yes.
when you go in the pits because you might end up with a rag or a wrench.
And
He's
so,
helping his own out. That's right.
Yeah.
Yep.
what else does a listener that's never been there need to know?
One good thing about Bonneville, I really like it. It's one of the last forms of motorsports where you can dream something, build something, and go out and race it.
Yeah, there's no two vehicles are the same.
Right.
Everything is different. Everybody, it's their own idea.
Nothing's
and what
off
they
the
think,
shelf.
What they want to do, and how they want to do it.
Yeah. I mean,
There's safety rules. There's regulations.
Oh, yeah,
but out of the box thinking is more than welcome there.
There's someone who was trying for 1,000 miles per hour in 2023. I just read about that.
Yeah,
Jet,
it's a guys from England.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
What is that even called? It's not a car. It's a
No, it's
land craft.
yeah,
What do you
It's
even
a
call that?
car. It's got four wheels.
yeah,
and
it's a
tires,
land
and-
speed.
you
They
can
just
call
call
it-
it a land speed car.
It's thrust driven. It's not wheel driven.
Right, because they're using a jet engine, I
Yes,
think.
they are.
Thrust
Yes.
driven. That makes sense.
Which means that there's no propulsion to the wheels. It's
Yes.
just blowing it down the road. You know Denise, what's her last name? She's the fastest woman on a bicycle.
Oh, I know who you're talking about. Yes.
Mueller.
Yes.
Denise Mueller.
Yes.
Yeah, I had her down at KUSI because I had her down when she broke the women's record with a Land Rover in the front, and she wanted to break the world record, and the Rover wouldn't go fast enough. So she's found some guy in San Diego that had tried to beat the bicycle with a dragster. So
Yes.
you probably know who he is.
Yeah, well, and actually, I helped make that car run.
Did you really?
I did.
Tuned it.
Why does that not
They
surprise
were
me?
having some problems on tune-up, and I got a phone call and went up to Escondido and helped them sort the thing out so they could run it.
Oh,
Can you believe she
nice.
did that? Would you do that on a bicycle?
I wouldn't. No.
Yeah, I would. Would you do that on a bike? No, I wouldn't do that. All right. Well, guys, I can't thank you enough. Brittany, you're just an absolute doll.
And Dwight and Steve, thank you.
Yes,
Because it
thank
was
you,
so
thank you.
nice to meet both of you. I can't wait to talk to you once you get in the 200 and then go for the 300-mile club. That'll be fun.
That'll be
Hopefully
fun.
Maybe by August.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe. Well,
Okay.
we're gonna get them back, and then we'll do the 1 to 2. Guys, thank you very much,
Well,
folks.
thanks for having us in here. I really appreciate it.
Oh, my pleasure, folks. Don't go anywhere. Gun Sports Radio right here on FM 96 AM 1170.
The answer.
This program is sponsored by Dave Stahl.